Hello everybody, welcome to a step-by-step tutorial on how to set up the project that we'll be using for the Adaptive Spatial Audio course. Now in this course we'll use a couple of different tools that I want to briefly touch upon before starting. For sound design and audio editing I would highly recommend using Ableton Live, however this is not mandatory and you can use any other tool that you see fit. The game engine we're going to use is Unity 3D. I'm using version 2021.1.17 F1. The middleware we're going to use is FMOD Studio. I'm using version 2.02.02. The spatializer we're going to use is Steam Audio. I'm using 4.0.0. And the recording software for your final submission can be OBS. I'm using version 27.0.1. But if you fancy using something different, then please be my guest. So let's go over these tools quickly. For FMOD, you need to go to fmod.com, create a free account, and then go to download. Then you need to download the FMOD Studio Suite. It's okay to use version 2.02, even though it's still in early access, works fine. And you also need to scroll down to the Unity integration and then make sure that the version number corresponds to the one you chose above, so also 2.02. You also need some software from Steam, so go to valvesoftware.github.io, Steam Audio Downloads. You need to download the Unity plugin right here, and you also need to download the editor and Unity plugin for FMOD Studio right here. So this one and this one. You also need to go to the Unity Asset Store and then search for Viking Village URP, which is this one right here, and just add it to your account. Now, the first step is to create a new Unity project. So make sure you have the latest version installed right here. Go to Projects, New Project, use 3D Core, give it a name, going to be Test. I'm going to save this on my desktop. Okay, there we go, our new project. Now, the first thing you need to do is go to Window, Package Manager. And then right here where it says Packages in Project, make sure to select My Assets. So if you added the Viking Village URP to your account, it should show up here. In my case, it's all the way at the bottom, so I need to click Load All. So there it is. Now I already downloaded this, so in your case this will probably be a download button, and once it's downloaded, click the import button. Click import, install and upgrade. Click import. Okay, that's done. You can close the package manager now. Go to your project, open up Viking Village, go to scenes, and then open up the Viking Village scene. Which looks like this. Okay, let's play this scene. Now, as you can see, if you press play, it actually starts with a fly-through. If you go to cameras here in the hierarchy, expand it, you can see that there's a flying rigid body FPS controller. If you open it up, and this is the actual camera when you're just navigating the scene manually. And this camera loop, this is also a camera, and this is the actual fly-through. Is being done with an animator. On this parent object, cameras, there is a control switch script. And this allows you to switch using a certain toggle key. In this case, it's set to C by default, but you can switch between the manual controller or an automatic controller. So manual control or the fly-through. It starts to get rather annoying if you start with the fly-through every time you start playing the scene. So one thing you could do is open up the script, go to line 17, and it's this boolean right here, set controller state, which is currently set to true, and you need to set this to false. And then save it. Close it, and now if you play it, you just start with manual control. Now you can still use the fly-through, so you can still press C. But now it's just the other way around. Okay, the next step would be to create a FMOD project. So assuming you already installed FMOD and you just created a new file, you have something like this. Let's create an event here. This I'm going to use a 3D timeline. Let's call this music. This is just for initial testing purposes. Now, whenever you create an event, it automatically has a hashtag unassigned next to it, which means that this event is currently not attached to a bank or not assigned to a bank yet. Now, if you go to the second tab right here, banks, you can see that there's one master bank. So this is where your events will be placed in. So if you go back to events and then right click on music, you can assign this to bank, browse, and then select master. So the tag disappears. And now if you go to banks, there's a little triangle in front of master. Now you can see that this event is actually part of the master bank. So we need some kind of audio to go in here. It doesn't really matter what it is for now. It's just for testing purposes. So I'm just going to drag in a song, Finger Bip from Aphex Twin. Let me just put away the initial intro. Let me just create a new loop region. Press play to see if it works. Yeah, works fine. Okay, so next step would be to save this project. What I usually like to do is save my FMOD project within the root of my Unity project. So you always have these two projects together. So within the root of my test project that I created in Unity, I'm going to create a new folder called FMOD project. And within that project, I'm going to save this as test FMOD. Now, another thing we need to do is, besides saving the project, is to build the banks. So there's currently one bank and it needs to be built. So if you go to File and then click on Build, or F7 is the shortcut. It's currently building it. Okay, so for now we can just close FMOD Studio. And we need to import a couple of packages. So the first Unity package is the FMOD Studio integration package. So let's just double click that and import it. Okay, we can do the setup wizard from FMOD later. So there's another package that we need to install. I'm also going to show you the other way of importing packages, which is clicking on Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and then just open it from your Explorer. So we just imported this one. We also need to do this one, Steam Audio Unity. Go to Unity and import this package, steamaudio.unity package. Let's have a look at the other files that we downloaded. So we just installed this one, but there's also this other directory, steamaudio_fmod. Now in here there are 3 directories. One is documentation, which is very handy. If you just double click on index, it shows you the website, also showing you how to install all of this stuff. There's a couple of things that you need to do in order to get this working. First of all, you need to go to the directory where your FMOD project is installed. So for me, that is within my Unity project folder, and then FMOD project test FMOD. And there is a folder called plugins. Now, within this plugins folder, you need to copy a couple of files. First of all, go to the source folder and drag over this file. Then you also need to go to the library folder and then choose your appropriate platform. So for me that's Mac OS, but for you it's Windows x64 most probably. So from this directory, there are 2 files that need to be copied. One is the phonon bundle, which is this one, and the other one is the libphonon _fmod.dylib. Just going to copy these files over. If you are on a Windows machine, then you need to do the phonon DLL and the phonon _fmod DLL. So not the lib one, but just the same folder. Okay, let's go back to Unity where we can do our FMOD setup wizard. A couple of things we need to do. First of all is disable existing native libraries. Just click on it. Needs to restart Unity. So there we are again. Next one is copy new native libraries. Click start. So reorganizing plugin files is done. Now we need to update event references. Let's click scan. Okay, that's done. Next. This is asking you where your FMOD Studio project is located. So click the top one. And then choose the project that you created. So in my case, it was inside the root directory of my Unity project. Created the folder FMOD project. Within that, there's the actual folder, and this is the FS Pro, the actual file you need to select. Next. So it detects 4 Unity listeners, and you need to replace those with FMOD audio listeners. So just click on it. Done. Next. Also need to disable built-in audio. You could also do that by going to Edit and then Project Settings. And then going to Audio. And then check this checkbox right here, Disable Unity Audio. But this setup wizard does it for you, so click. Next. Some information about source control if you're using that. Close. Okay. So there's one last step you need to do. Go to your Finder window. Go to your Unity project folder. Go to Assets, Plugins, FMOD, Library, and then choose your platform. So for you, it's going to be Windows, and then this directory, and then these two files need to be moved to a different location. So for me personally, it's going to be these 2 files. I'm going to take these files, and they need to be in the platforms directory. And then choose your appropriate platform. So for me, it's Mac. Go to lib, and then place these files right here. Now we should be able to use FMOD and Steam Audio simultaneously without any errors. Go to Steam Audio, go to the settings, make sure that the audio engine is actually set to FMOD Studio and not Unity. So do that. And another thing we need to do is go to our FMOD settings and then go down here to platform specific, click on default, and then go down to dynamic plugins. Currently says the list is empty. Click plus, and then type here onon underscore FMOD, and then enter. Now, we also need to actually use this plugin in our FMOD project. So let's just open that up again. I'm just opening the recent project that I just created. So here's the music event. Now you need to go down to the master channel. You can see that there is the Spatializer plugin, which is the default plugin from FMOD itself. You can just remove this by right-clicking and pressing delete. And we need to replace this with the actual Steam Audio one. So click here, add effect. Go down to plugin effects. I know it's outside of the screen for you guys. Perhaps I can resize the window a bit. Yeah. Go down to plugin effects, valve, and then add your Steam Audio Spatializer. So this plugin has a lot of different options that we'll go over later on in the course. But for now, you can just set the distance attenuation to curve driven. And that means that this event will have a distance attenuation that is using this curve right here. So it's the volume roll off of our 3D audio event. And the minimum and maximum distance is set right here, but we can set that later on. Save the project, build it. Right, so back in Unity, let's add this event to a specific location. I think the player actually starts, or was it? Was somewhere over here. See that? Cameras. Yeah, so this is where the player starts. And I want the music event to be playing at this boathouse right here. So select it, add a component, type in FMOD, click Studio Event Emitter, search for an event, go to Events, Music, and then set it to play at object start, which means that the event will start playing as soon as this selected game object will be rendered by the game object, by the game engine. Now you see these two spheres. You have like a tiny one in the center and a bigger outer one. This represents where you as a player start to hear the sound and where the sound will be at its loudest. So if the player is outside of the outer sphere, it will not hear the audio. As soon as it enters the outer sphere, it will start to hear the audio, and the volume will gradually go up until it reaches the inner sphere. And the inner sphere is the maximum volume, so full volume. If you click right here on Override Attenuation, you can actually resize these, but you could also just do that with your mouse. I'm going to set this to 10 and make this a bit bigger as well. So perhaps, I don't know, around 30. Sometimes it's a good idea to just go over to top view so you can kind of see in which area your sound can be heard and where it's at its loudest and where you will actually start to hear the sound. Now, we're not actually going to use the override attenuation, so this is just for visuals, and so we can remember these values. So it's approximately 10 for the minimum and 30 for the maximum. So you can just disable this again, and then go back to FMOD, go to your Steam Audio Spatializer, and then right here, this is where you need to enter these values. So double click here, set this to 10, and then this one can be set to 30. This is where you can choose your different curves. Let's save this, build it again. Right. So let's see if this stuff works right now. Clear the console, press play. Yes, completely error-free. Let's walk over to our sound event. So there are still a lot more settings that you can tweak to make this a bit more realistic, but this is just for testing purposes and demonstration for you guys to see how you can set up your initial project so you can start to work on this assignment. So thanks for watching and peace out.